Good evening, my darling batlings. Hope you've had a wonderful week since I haven't been streaming these past several days. Thank you for, who threw that at me? I don't see where... Or was that just like a late thing for one of the follows I got 2 days ago? I don't know. What is up, my doges? Yes, I saw your message, Chuck. I might have a way of getting around the disk reading issues that my PS2's been having. I just gotta see if I have the space to set up my workaround for that, because it's a whole nest of wires and stuff. Hey, thanks for the resub, JKR. 31 months in a row. Impressive. Tonight we're going to be... I know I originally scheduled the PS1 Spider-Man tonight, which is why I'm playing the PS1 Spider-Man theme. But I felt like, you know, I already started Spider-Man PS4, technically the PC version. And you know, it makes more sense algorithmically to continue that. And this is the start of a new tradition that will go on until I get bored of it, called Spidey Fridays, where on Fridays I'll be playing Spider-Man games, because there are so goddamn many of them, and I have nostalgic connections to a lot of them.
Do it.
So, without further Mountain Dew...
Pizza time.
You know, I could go for a pizza right now. All I had is ramen. Because when I got my order of Gamer Sups, they included a 5-pack of ramen with it that I didn't order. So I'm like, thanks for the free ramen.
I kind of want ramen. I kind of want a pizza now, too. I've been debating it all day.
Dude, imagine pizza-flavored ramen.
That would be very odd, but it sounds also somewhat appealing. I don't know why. It'd be spaghetti, though.
Gamer Sups, get on that. If I get a sponsorship with you at some point, I'm not gonna have my own flavor. I'm gonna have my own flavor of ramen, and it's gonna be pizza-flavored.
You're gonna just turn into freaking pasta and freaking...
I mean, that would just further my theory that ramen is just Japanese spaghetti.
You could turn it that way.
Much better than the full, like, PlayStation Studios intro, don't you agree?
Mm-hmm. Definitely better than that.
I actually made my own mod for replacing the PlayStation Studios intro, but I no longer have it downloaded. I'll have to re-download it off of Mods Nexus. It's the only mod I've ever made myself.
I didn't know you even made a mod.
Yeah, I made it years ago. It's it could do with an update because due to me, you know, not fully grasping how the modding process for it works. The audio only comes out of one speaker instead of both, so I need to like refix that.
Yeah, more than likely.
Hey, thanks for the clip. I'll check that out later.
I wonder what Fisk is hiding in a shipyard.
Actually, I ran into a bug that I didn't notice at first on stream, but it's a known bug when you're using mods, which is, if you're using mods as of the last patch for this game, you will only be able to upgrade your web slinger skills because Defender and Innovator will be locked off. So what you have to do is start the game without mods, upgrade the first level of Defender and Innovator, and then you'll get access to the rest of those skill trees. So I did some like off-screen experience grinding to be able to do those so I wouldn't be like, you know, screwed in terms of my abilities.
Mm-hmm.
I also have some new suits installed this time.
That's Gwenum, isn't it?
Yes, that is Gwenum. I have a figurine of Gwenum. The reason I got it, we got Venom here. We got several versions of Venom. This one has tongue physics.
Oh gosh, tongue physics.
let me see what Chuck said. So if the PS2 doesn't work later, then maybe we could create a commentary cron. Also, Red will kill you if he sees this about the Japanese spaghetti. Do it. Bold of you to assume I fear death. We still got Calliope and Skeleton Man.
Skeleton Man.
But among the like new suit imports, the game just crashed. Let me try that again.
The game said, I don't want to see those new suits.
Oh, well, at least we get to see the intro again.
Yeah, the fun one. Wonder if one of your suits might be corrupting the file.
No, I ran this earlier and it was fine. It's just, this game, it occasionally crashes. See, we got Renamon.
Yeah, I remember that.
In addition to the suits that were added to the remaster, which, hey, we got Thomas the Tank Engine.
No.
We got Pepsi Man.
Yeah, I remember Pepsi Man.
We got PS1 Venom, who also has tongue physics.
Oh my gosh.
We got Spider Cop. PS1 models for Spidey, Spooder Man. And Evil Spooder Man. We got Dante. Dante is best. DMC2 is best game. We got Deadpool, Leon.
Of course, Leon.
The black suit from the 94 show. You know, the one we grew up with. We got Ultimate Spider-Man, ripped from the GameCube game.
Oh my gosh, I can tell.
And his symbiote suit from that game. We got Bonesaw is ready! And to accompany that, we got, if it'll load, the Human Spider.
Human Spider's funny.
We got J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man suit from that one scene in Spider-Man 2 where he's dancing around in the suit.
Oh my gosh.
We got Venom as he first appeared in the comics on the cover of the issue he debuted in. We got movie Venom, who is appropriately slimy.
Is that one of the far left who I think it is?
We got Hank Hill.
Do you know they're doing a reboot / sequel to like the original?
Yes, they are. And it's going to be weird since two of the voice actors are dead.
And they aged Bobby like...
Well, aging Bobby makes sense. But yeah, we got Lady Demetresque. We got Lady.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
And we got Virgil.
Ooh.
But I'm feeling like we need some Hank Hill to dispense some justice. Spider Hank, yes. Whoa! Dang it, Bobby. That boy ain't right, I tell you what.
I just realized if you combine Spider Hank into one word, what it turns into, and I'm just gonna be like, okay, no, brain, go back to normal.
I'm flying pretty close to blind. I ought to look for towers to activate.
Spider Hank, defender of propane and propane accessories.
I dispense propane accessories, and justice. The worst crimes a man can commit are thievery, murder, drug dealing, and cooking with charcoal.
You don't use charcoal.
Taste the meat, not the smoke. This is Justice. Hey, Cloud.
Cloud's like, what?
Nah, Cloud's used to my brand of bullshit by now.
That's true. You have a unique brand of it that not many people get used to easily.
And there's some more suits that we'll see later in the game as they unlock. You know, I was interested in how spinning would work on the 2D model when I turned off the thing for it to always face the camera.
Oh my god.
All right, time to dispense some propane lace justice. I'll tell you what. I sell propane and propane accessories.
With extra propane. Because propane senses are no, would you say propane senses are charcoal senses because of that?
I mean, Spidey senses doesn't mean that he's sensing spiders.
That's true.
Charcoal is better. I've only ever cooked with charcoal because we've never had a propane grill. So I can't speak on the matter. I just know that I like to cook my steaks on my George Foreman that you got me.
We, at my family's house for, since I was a kid, have had propane grills.
See, for me, my opinion on, like, propane versus charcoal and, like, whether you want to taste the meat or the smoke, it depends on what you're cooking.
Yeah.
Like with a steak, you don't want it to taste all smoky, but like a burger can taste good when it's got some of that smoke flavor to it.
Yeah, but if you want that smoke flavor, you can always get a little bit of liquid smoke, or like that you can just put into it, infuse it.
Why does liquid smoke sound like a euphemism for something very illegal?
I don't know. That's a good question.
You've made me steamed hams on propane when I visited. Well, it's hard on me for not being out there to grill it with you.
I'll have your head. Got it, boss. Tripling security. Demons won't touch a thing.
Is this music for 90s Spider-Man? Yes, it is. And so is the fight music.
Lost 2 tonight already. Boss may be in lockup, but that don't mean his hardware's up for grabs.
Com check, Eagle 2, you up?
Eagle 2 reporting in. Eyes on.
Hey, look, he's got a snipper rifle. I wonder if he's the Kingpin's secret snipper.
Whatever it is.
Oh, well.
Don't want it in Fisk's or the demon's hands.
Hank Hill will find out.
Might need to deal with
You know what? Hank Hill's a little... he's a big boy. Also, the way that the vertices on his pants stretch like that is ungodly. We need someone with kind of a lighter... someone a little bit lighter. Someone who's good at sneaking around. Someone who's not gonna make as much noise. I'm thinking... you know what? I think this calls for... this calls for this ungodly Venom model. With sculpted ass cheeks. Spooty, you want Spooty? Okay, we'll do Spooty. And awaken them to new things. You know what? Renamon. There we go. Cloud sold me. We're doing Renamon. We're making them realize that being choked out by Renamon can awaken things in you.
I mean, Renamon is stealthy.
I don't know. I didn't watch much of Tamers, even though I have it on DVD. It has a very slow start.
Yeah, Renamon has abilities to just like appear out of nowhere type scenarios. She's always in hiding, always like sneaking around.
So you're saying she goes sneaky, 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 sneaky?
Yes. But if we're talking about people going sneaky, 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 it's probably Callie. That's probably the best.
Well, yeah, that's true. We'll save her for a different stealth section. There is a Solid Snake model that you can import to this game that I should have gotten. Something for next time. I'm trying to add more and more things until it becomes a mess. As if it isn't already. There's some stuff that you're not even going to be able to see until next time. Like up there, there's not Renamon's ass. Up there is an X-Wing flying by.
I was saying, why are you looking at Renamon's?
Look, her ass is just so big that it takes up the screen.
Oh my gosh.
I'm still not a furry. And I specifically don't understand, like, the fascination that a lot of millennial furries have with Renamon. in particular. Like, out of all the Digimon, it was Renamon, the one who is explicitly stated to be, at the very least, gender neutral, if not non-binary.
Good question.
Which, you know, no disrespect, it's just like, you know, there's so many more humanoid-looking Digimon in there. And Renamon doesn't have, like, an explicitly sexualized design out of, you know, so many feminine Digimon. But then again, I'm just trying to figure out, like, the psychology of a culture that I'm not a part of. The voice, most likely. I gotta remember what her voice was like. Because, again, haven't really watched much of Tamers. Like, even when it was airing, I didn't get to see much of it because I missed out on a lot of Saturday morning cartoons in the early 2000s because they would always air when I was visiting my dad on the weekends, and he was like, he's the kind of person that's like, oh, you can't just have a fun Saturday, you've got to be getting work done.
Sounds about right.
He also, for some reason, insistently referred to Saturday morning cartoons as comics.
They're not comics, though.
I don't know why. And there goes some of the famous flying pizza slices of New York.
I need a pizza now. But Renamon got a lot of love in...
Oh, she got a lot of love, all right.
Not like that. They created... So, her Megaform, like, Digimon started doing a lot
Yes, I've seen her Megaform.
Well, have you seen Miko mode?
No.
I'll show you Miko mode.
Do I want to see it?
It's normal-ish, but it's basically the equivalent of that Digimon Saver Beast, like not Beast.
I've never seen
Birthday.
Savers, remember?
I know you haven't. So it's basically like an alternate Digivolution line that they came out with. So there's two versions.
If you're talking about, if it's just like a different mode of the same Digimon, then that's not something that really needs to be explained to me. I'm like, one of my favorite Digimon is Imperial Dramon, and he's got like 3 forms.
Yeah, but this is like a really big difference from what you expect.
There's also like, you know, the X antibody forms and stuff like that. I'm used to Digimon having wildly different forms that are technically the same Digimon.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Like, when we get into the X antibody stuff, that's when stuff gets fucky. Where they get, like, real wild with the designs. I think it's so cool.
Someone needs a nap.
For some reason in English it's called maid mode.
Yeah, because, well, part of it is that Bandai and Toei are the ones who decide on the localized names, which is why we get some weird ones, like Lilithmon being localized as Laylamon, or Agnimon being localized as Agunimon. But, like, maid mode, I can kind of see why, just from, you know, knowing what a Miko is. It's, like, basically the caretaker of a shrine.
Yeah.
It's not one-to-one a maid, it's just something we don't really have an English equivalent for. Like, it wouldn't be like a nun, which there is a nun Digimon. Sistermon.
Yeah, there is.
But, you know, it's not the same as, like, you know, a nun or a monk. It's a different thing.
They ended up putting this Digimon form in Digimon Masters.
Okay.
Like years ago. And they put it behind a loot box that was like ridiculously hard to get.
As they tend to do for free-to-play online games.
Yeah, well, I think it hit hard with...
Oh boy, we get to see Officer Davis talk to Renamon.
know we can't.
You're not. You don't think it's weird that you're talking to a 5-foot tall humanoid fox? No, sir. No, sir. This is New York. I see weirder things on a daily basis.
I like this.
Wait, did they add her?
What's your name?
No, it was Digimon Re-Arise. They added her too.
Officer Davis. Call me Jeff. And you
By the way, I'll find an example here.
Just messing with you. My son's a big fan.
So, that warrant cover breaking down doors?
Can we talk about the inherent surrealism of two Fox Kids properties being right next to each other?
Find another way.
And eventually Disney properties by extension?
This rundown should have a hole in the wall or a broken window.
Check around back. I'd go.
Am I the only one thinking that's a little bit surreal in a, like, nostalgic way? I guess I am.
More than likely.
Okay, well, I guess I'm the only one who thinks about surrealism in art. Because I consume a lot of surrealist and absurdist art, like Family Guy. Well, I don't consume Family Guy anymore. I watch good shows.
So Ari, I'm gonna send you this.
Yeah?
To our little chat thing here, and I'm just gonna send you this link.
Okay.
And it's gonna be a picture of a Digimon card.
Okay. Yeah, I'm used to seeing a lot of them represented only by cards, like most of the Legendary Warriors, ancient Digimon forms, you know. Like Rick and Morty? No, not like Rick and Morty.
Like Rick and Morty?
Yeah, got it.
If we can overload it, that should force the door open.
Rick and Morty was good for a couple seasons. I'll say that much.
They went downhill.
I just lost interest in it. I'm not even one of those, like, people that's been keeping up with the supposed downfall of the series. I'm just like, it doesn't interest me anymore. It's a little bit too cynical for my taste. Like, not that I'm against cynical stuff. My favorite band is the Proto Man, and they're very much a cynical band. But that's part of it due to it taking place in a dystopian future. Whereas Rick and Morty just feels like, you know, I'm 14 and this is deep.
Mm-hmm. Electric webs.
The gadget man, huh? You remind me of my son.
Man, Frontier was a trip. Frontier is one of my favorites, even though I acknowledge that it's a clusterfuck of a series. It's got such bad pacing because, like, what should be its first villain arc takes up over half of the series. And then, like, the last, like, less than 20 episodes are dedicated to what should be the second major arc. But they only have, like, 12 episodes left to work with. And a lot of it is just the exact same plot repeated for, like, a dozen episodes in a row.
Look for another junction box.
But seriously, it's got some of the best human characters, partly due to the fact that it ditches the partner Digimon aspect. It focuses a lot more on the dynamics between the human characters, which is something that we don't get much of in shows like that.
Must not be the right box.
And I hate that it's sort of like a, you know, the series that shall not be named as far as its reception and reputation goes, because it's got a lot of good ideas and good characters in it that we're just probably never going to see again in any major capacity.
You got a big fat nut.
The Renamon model looks so weird.
Yes, it does. It's taken from something called Digimon Lynx.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
But not the scrapes they.
And there's a second version of it that has a more realistic fur texture. I'm like, nah, I'm good. That's a little bit too furry for my taste.
Yeah.
The unwanted stepchild of the franchise. Yeah, even though it's low-key got some of the best human drama out of any of the series. Without going into, like, nihilistic eldritch monstrosity territory like Tamers does.
Where else could there be scrapes? Pay dirt. Scrape, no door.
Like, there's a reason that one of the first cosplays I ever did, and still continue to do at conventions, or at least did when I regularly visited conventions, was Koji from Frontier. And a reason why my first, big project for editing anything and directing anything and voice acting anything was an abridged series of Digimon Frontier.
Second floor.
I have a lot of nostalgic attachment to it, even if I acknowledge it's not the best series by a long shot. Did I say anything about your comment? No, I did not. I was on a tangent about Digimon Frontier. Putting together a demo reel, interesting.
Nice. Stuck the landing and everything.
I need to put together a demo reel sometime.
Fair enough.
You really do.
Another secret door.
I've actually got some roles I can put on my demo reel, other than, just like fan projects, since I've voice acted in a couple of video games.
Found one.
I've thought about streaming the games I've voice acted in sometime, but one of them requires 2 players, but supports Steam Remote Play. I would just have to find someone who's willing to do co-op with me. And also, they're like more proof of concept, like sort of just little test experiments in the devs'
Look at the wall.
development skills rather than full-fledged games, so they would be over very quickly.
Gotta be a passageway we're missing. Check out the wall. This might control.
Not to discount them as good projects, it's just like, I would love to see them fleshed out into full games eventually, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Especially since all of the dev team for those 2 projects have broken up and gotten jobs as, professional game developers.
If I were a junction box, where would I be?
Follow the conduits. They should lead you in the right direction.
Yeah. Found it. Clear.
What games? One of them is called Steel Salvo, and the other one is called Twin Cores. They're both on Steam, and they're both free. No monetization whatsoever, so no, like, microtransactions or any bullshit like that. In Steel Salvo, I voice the robot overlord who's taunting you throughout the gameplay, and in Twin Cores, I voice one of the player characters.
Probably an old bootlegger's tunnel.
Like, probably a lot of people apparently like my performance as the robot overlord, judging by, like, comments on the Steam reviews and from, like, the one video review that I was able to find of it, like, starts off with basically comparing my robot overlord performance to Invader Zim, and that is the biggest compliment. My voice for it was based off of G1 Starscream, funnily enough, so it is, like, a very shrill voice.
Okay, that definitely wasn't a subway.
No. Sounded like explosives.
And that sounds like demons.
The vault! Hurry! Come on, let's go!
Hey, Shadow Dragon. How you been doing? I've been, very tired this week and also dealing with, issues with my PS2, so that's why there haven't been many streams this week, even though several were planned. Like, I'm very sensitive to, like, a lot of weather changes. And part of that is, like, when the weather gets real shitty for prolonged periods of time, I get real fucking tired.
They passed up smoke grenades, flashbangs.
Jeez, it's a lot of boxes of stuff.
Yep.
Smash and grab. They were moving fast.
Can we hear a sample of the voice? I can give you a sample of what it sounded like. Like, I don't have the file for it anymore, but I could, like, improv a bit of, like, what it sounded like before it was filtered, because they did the filtering on their end. It was something like, "Human, if you continue to interfere, I will blow you to smithereens." Something like that. I can't really do the exact voice anymore because I've forgotten how to do it.
They didn't clean out. There. They blew the locks to get in.
Hey, I'm glad you like it. I'm very flattered that people liked it in general from the people that played it. And the general consensus was like, this is a great proof of concept. We want to see it made into a full game. And I am of the same opinion. It's also the first voice acting job that I got paid for. I did it for free. But they thought that me and the other voice actors added so much to the product, to the final product, that they decided to pay us anyway. Even though we never talked about payment. Which, you know, that was a nice surprise to get an extra, like, 40-something bucks for a very short recording session. Because I only have, like, 3 or 4 lines in the whole game. Because it's a, again, very short proof of concept. So getting paid, like, basically, like, a little over 10 bucks per line was nice.
Yeah, it definitely sounds nice.
Like, that was before I had any sort of going rate for, custom voice acting jobs or projects, which I might need to, adjust my rate a little bit, because I think I'm going a little bit too high. Basically, if you go to my Ko-Fi, link in, any of my, on, like, my YouTube or my Twitch, you can commission me to read stuff, to read, like, scripted stuff, and the price varies depending on, the, you know, the length of the script. But yeah, I need, basically, like, I need to put some more thought into my prices and, like, how many retakes I'm going to, allow.
Yes.
Oh, good. Just going for collecting all the collectibles in Doom the Dark Ages after completing, which is also most of them being Gold Ruby and Wraith Stones for the upgrades, as well as the rest being toys and codexes. Yeah, there's a lot of collectibles in Doom the Dark Ages. I need to get back to streaming it sometime. I probably will next week. Like, one of the things I've noticed from, you know, familiarizing myself a lot more with id's old shooters is, like, not to discount the quality of Doom the Dark Ages, but it's very much, like, less Doom and more, Quake 1, or, even though this wasn't an id-produced game, it was published by them, Hexen, or Heretic.
Stay safe, Jeff. Don't do anything.
Where, like, it's more Lovecraftian in theme rather than, you know, strictly demons versus military. It's got a lot of, like, fantasy and, eldritch elements to it. Which the original Quake was, almost entirely rooted in, whereas what Quake would become from Quake 2 onward went, like, straight sci-fi. When am I going to stream Destroy All Humans again? I forgot that I was even streaming that at one point. When I feel up to it. Part of, like, I plan out my schedules based on what I think I'm going to be up to playing that week. Which is why they're so often subject to change, because, like, sometimes my mood changes. I have ADHD. I tend to flip-flop a lot.
I one day still want to see RoboCop.
I've confirmed that my new GPU is able to run RoboCop very stably, so that's a good thing, so I will be able to stream it. My old GPU had some issues with running RoboCop.
Thank goodness.
It helps that the PC version of RoboCop is sponsored by Intel's Arc graphics cards, which is what I now have. So they're like, it's optimized to run on those GPUs.
No, don't hurt the cop. And of course, they're just taking photos.
There's a 6-foot-tall fox lady right there, and everyone's focused on the cop.
We've now identified the officer as Jefferson Davis.
I only played Quake for a few of its mods, like the Slave Zero X that was made to promote the OG game Slave Zero X. I heard about No, I'm thinking of, God, what am I thinking of that was, like, a boomer shooter throwback that came out, like, last year that everyone was hyping up. It was, like, Slayer X or something like that.
better chance we have to stop them.
Yeah, not Doom. Quake has a lot of, like, full game conversion mods for it because it had a practice back in the day of, like, once they're done with everything they can do on their current engine and they've moved on to developing their next engine, they release the source code for the previous engine and allow people to do whatever they want with it open source. Which is part of why there's so many ports of Doom and Quake to so many weird platforms, because the code is open source now, so people are able to port that code to new operating systems legally.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It doesn't really do that anymore because they're owned by Bethesda and by extension ZeniMax and by extension from that Microsoft. But what they have done recently is, like, since Doom the Dark Ages runs on a new engine, the previous engine that ran Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, God, this is cursed. They've, like, opened up mod support for it finally. I thought you were talking about Slave Zero for Dreamcast, which Slave Zero X is a prequel to that. Slave Zero that was on the Dreamcast is on Steam. Yeah, I was getting Slave Zero confused with, like, another game that came out last year that is like Slayer X or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember it. I never played it, but it's on Game Pass for now. I think it's getting ready to leave Game Pass.
Empire Sanitation, this is Eddie.
Yeah, hi. I'm trying to track down some items that were...
Pikachu!
Dumpster number.
I want to...
God, there's an infestation of Pikachus here. I thought these guys were supposed to be kind of rare.
I thought they were supposed to be Pichus first. How are they infestationing?
That's Route 33. Truck's already left its shift. If your stuff's not there, you're out of luck.
Wait, please. This is important.
Let me check. Alright. Looks like it should be at the municipal garage at Bowery and Grand.
Gotta get up early tomorrow morning, night. Have a good night, Chuck.
Garage, Bowery and Grand. Not a problem.
Glad you were able to stop by.
I don't care if I lose everything else, but I have to find my Spidey drive. Can't be that hard. Finding a
No more stealth mission.
30-ton garbage truck.
Right, since it's no more stealth mission, we need, let's see.
We need something better.
You know what? I say this calls for, where is it? The
90s suits, maybe?
You know, yeah, let's go with the 90s suit, which I like that for this one. It's not just a retexture. They actually resculpted the head to look like the animation model.
Yeah, it looks good. And it fits in the city.
Yeah, it's gonna fit with the music that's gonna be playing too.
Yeah, just...
Or at least the music that usually plays while we're swinging through the city. Megatron, you criminal. I mean, he is Megatron. He is a criminal of many kinds, including war crimes. But then again, what are war crimes? Are war crimes really crimes if you're not prosecuted for them?
Good question.
There goes the Millennium Falcon.
Yep.
Of course it's locked. Can't have people stealing garbage.
Well, of course you can't have people stealing garbage. That's how you keep the trash man away.
Look at the Pikachu. It's trying to steal garbage right now.
Yeah. We got Pikachu infestation in here. We got Garfields infesting the parks. We got pizzas on all the roofs.
It's not really breaking.
So many infestations, bro.
Right? Okay, no need to panic.
I think the pizzas might be attracting both the Garfields and the Pikachus.
Okay, time to panic.
Empire Sanitation, this is Eddie.
Sorry, is there any chance the truck wasn't at the garage?
Sure, I guess. Just means it'd be somewhere in West Chinatown.
Great, I'm headed there now.
Has the guy on speed dial.
Well, I mean, it helps to have all sorts of people on speed dial when you are Spider-Man.
True.
Hey, it's a long shot, but sometimes the guys stop for pizza before they drop off.
Really? I'll check out the pizza shops. Any idea which one?
One of the mom and pop joints, I think.
Jerry's?
No, that's uptown.
I mean original Jerry's.
Oh, right. No, started with an L, I think.
Larry's?
That's on the east side.
Leo's.
Leo's, yeah.
I love this conversation because it's like, yeah, this is just New York. Just talking about pizza.
No worries. Hope you find what you're looking for.
Pizza at mom and pop pizza joints, not at like the chains.
Some trucks close by. Nope, stuff's
There's a pizza. That's a spicy meatball, even though it's not a meatball, it's a pizza.
no sign of my stuff. What an interesting smell.
I just saw a Pikachu go under the truck.
Oh no. Who needs a Mew under the truck when there's a Pikachu under the truck?
Yeah, there's another Pikachu. You see, we got a Pikachu infestation in this town. No wonder there's been rolling blackouts.
Right now.
Incinerator?
Over by Manhattan Bridge. Good hustle.
Spider plushie! Oh, a toy designer made this prototype to get me to license my likeness. Too bad there's no way to get paid without revealing my identity.
You know, that's a good logistical thing that not many people think of when superheroing. How do you license yourself without giving up your secret identity?
You don't.
Answer, you set it up in a shell company. But
lawyer.
Peter's not an entrepreneur, he's an entrepreneur.
That's why you need a lawyer that will work for Spider-Man.
LLC held by another LLC. Yeah, like I said, shell companies. Just a company that exists to own and operate other companies.
The Williamsburg Bridge. A convenient route to someplace. Uh-oh, looks like trouble.
Uh-oh, we're getting into a rut. We're getting into a rut. You know what this calls for? Some good old-fashioned... Where is it? Some good old-fashioned identity theft.
I'll blame Jameson. Perfect plan.
Thanks, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man! Spider-Man is a menace!
You okay?
Yeah, thanks. This gang's been terrorizing the whole neighborhood the last couple of days. There's probably more of them on the way.
I'll keep an eye out. Hey, mind if I look around for some personal items?
Sure, have at it. I gotta go file an incident report.
I think that's it.
All of this for the Spidey drive.
Please be here. Yes! Hope it still works. Phew, looks like everything's here. Hey look, an old gadget prototype. Looks kinda awesome. Why didn't I ever finish it? I think I can make this work.
And now we got the Pokeball gadget.
We can catch them Pikachus now.
Oh, we're gonna be catching some people. Not sure if we can catch the Pikachus. We need to battle the Pikachus first. And sadly, this game doesn't allow for combat with the wildlife.
Dang.
That guy who thinks he's Spider-Man works so well for this costume.
It really does, right?
There, we caught him.
Okay, well, this night isn't quite going as planned. Where am I gonna sleep? Guess I could try MJ's.
Oh boy, just think about, in the context of what we're seeing, Jameson wearing Spider-Man's costume shows up to MJ's apartment using Peter's voice,
Any chance I could stay over it? Oh, that's too formal.
asking to sleep on her couch.
MJ, I was just in the neighborhood and oh, that's lame. Hey MJ, now that we're
On Twitter, I was talking to a friend of mine about Doom the Dark Ages when I uploaded one of the videos of it, and I mentioned the BFG in it being a Trump card. A fake Elon Musk retweeted that, probably because I said Trump card. Yeah, that's one of those AI accounts that infest Twitter, that just look for specific words in order to, like, retweet or respond to certain things. It's like, if you're a VTuber, or, you know, just a general nerd who's into getting art commissioned on Twitter, anytime you post, like, the word art, you get all sorts of responses from bots that are claiming to be artists.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Or if you talk about someone scamming you, you get all these bots responding, telling you to, like, this person can help you solve your problem. And it's like some random account on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why there's VGen and Skeb. Yeah, that's why I exclusively, like, apart from working with artists that I know myself and have access to outside of Twitter, I will exclusively use, you know, sites for artists like Skeb and VGen for commissioning art. That's why I'm happy that, like, when I put out my first looking for art post, when I was looking for a thumbnail artist for my old channel, pre-Arikado days, Shiba was the first to reach out to me with a portfolio of her work, and was an actual person and not a bot. And I lucked out so good with that before, you know, responding, before any of the bots were able to show up.
That's true. Avoiding the bots.
Like, that, in hindsight, it was really naive of me to post anything like that on Twitter, but I just lucked out in the best way.
Looks like MJ's story just got published.
Yeah. I mean, eventually people do tend to have some sort of luck.
You see too many of those bots in their portfolios. See, Shiba's an actual person who I've been using as my go-to artist for channel-related stuff for years now, so I know she's an actual person. But, like, not back then, you know, the bots wouldn't have portfolios, or the portfolios they had were, like, obviously just stolen stuff that you couldn't possibly fall for. They've gotten a little bit smarter, shall we say, nowadays.
Yeah, they have. I see them all the time still.
Response to a 1030 on an armored car. Officers needed in Gramercy. Please copy.
Are you okay, ma'am?
Carmen, and I'm fine. It's my husband Rodrigo. He's been acting weird, and I just found out he's meeting this woman.
Yeah, they steal DeviantArt accounts and try to use them as their own. I saw one person who used, like, a bad Photoshop of, like, promo art of Goku with promo art of Luffy pasted over his head very badly, and claiming that that was a piece they drew.
Okay. Don't worry, Carmen. I'll find out what's going on.
And I'm not gonna name names, but I've had a few friends fall for those like bot accounts on Twitter before. So I've had to direct them to like, here's sites where you can reach out to real artists who are verified to be real people and not just play, you know, Russian roulette with Twitter's broken algorithm.
That's Rodrigo. He's really nervous. That woman doesn't seem
like people say, look what I did this for this client, and they don't name the client ever. Yeah, I've seen so many of those. It's like, the way you can tell that it's a bot most of the time is that they say the exact same things as other bots with no variation. I've seen a few that get a little bit creative with trying to appear more real by like responding to people's tweets, asking questions about stuff they have listed in their bios. But eventually, you know, they fall into an identifiable pattern, and you can be like, okay, yeah, this is a bot. So we're gonna need to be stealthy, which calls for sneaky, neaky, 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 neaky.
If that picture gets out, my life's over.
Bad angle. Need to get it straight on.
Very nice.
Yes, my favorite thing.
Nice clear image.
Sneaking.
Looks good.
I thought your favorite thing was taking incognito photos of people from rooftops or sign tops.
Oh my gosh.
This sounds bigger than I thought.
You heard, you had Spider-Man, now we have Spider-Dad.
I'm uploading a photo.
I think he used that joke last time, actually.
I do not care.
Talking about?
Sounds like she's blackmailing him. She mentioned something about plans.
My husband works security at a casino in Atlantic City.
She could be
Spider-Dad in air quotes. I mean, remember, she's not mommy, she's dad.
I'm gonna see where she's taking.
She also doesn't like it when you call her delicious or yummy, because she says delicious and yummy are exclusively reserved for food. And she especially hates it when you call sleep delicious.
Sleep is a necessity.
Like, she was doing a stream where she was teaching Japanese viewers some basic English words. And one of them she taught was yummy, and everyone in chat started saying, like, yummy calliope. And she was like, no, 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 yummy is only for food. And then one person was like, yummy sleep, and she was like, hey, knock it off.
I need a better angle.
Photo, he fell in line.
Rodrigo always was a sucker. Boss will be happy. Let's see the plans. That's
Gotcha.
gotta catch my train.
Also, like, what, speaking of Hololive VTubers, I recently saw a clip from one of Ollie's recent streams, where she, like, gives a recap of her lore to a new viewer. And she also just, like, you know, mad props to her, because, you know, so many, not just Hololive, but, like, corpo talents in general, have to, for, like, contractual reasons, act as though, like, they're either, you know, pure innocent maidens who have no interest in anyone of the opposite sex, or they have to pretend that they are, like, exclusively into their own sex, whether they are in real life or not, to play up for the fan service. Ollie was like, a lot of people think that I only like girls, but I'm actually bisexual.
I need to find out who else is in it.
And the way she specifically phrased it, adding on to it, was like, people think that I only like girls, but I like penises too.
I'll let you know what I find out.
I'm like, that is brave for a Hololive VTuber to say.
Yeah.
Because, you know, with you know, I'm not saying this to diss Hololive, but it's more so a thing with the Japanese idol industry in general, is that, like, a lot of the, you know, their romance and or sex lives is played up as like, oh, tee hee, wink wink, nudge nudge, whereas she just straight up says, like, yeah, I'm bi.
Yeah, it's the whole idea of keeping things, like, I don't really know, like more like a teasing thing in a way, yet also not really being honest about.
Yeah, it's because like in the Japanese idol industry, you're expected to at least publicly not have any romantic or sexual relationships. That way your fanboys can have this like parasocial idea that they can get with you if they try hard enough and are dedicated enough.
Yeah, which means more money spent, which means more stuff, which means
Yeah, that's why you get so many like obsessive stalkers of idols in all idol industries. I think I'm going to power down for the night. Big day tomorrow. Have a good night, JKR, and have a good day tomorrow. Hope to talk to you tomorrow some more. Since we didn't really get to talk for the past couple days because I've been so tired. Then there's also Marine, who has shown her Fanza and DL site stuff to Pekara. Yeah, well, yeah, I just love Marine. She's so openly horny. To the point where, like, they've had to tone it down in her official music videos for YouTube. By, like, censoring stuff with, like, mosaics. Hell, her latest song is called Horny Money World, and it's about, like, making money by selling some of her used clothing.
I have all the evidence.
Oh my god.
I just have to stop that car.
And speaking of like things I love from recent HoloLive streams, it looks like some more of the Holo girls have been playing the newer Yakuza games, the ones that have Kson in them as a like celebrity guest cameo that she won a spot for in a contest.
I remember that.
And given that Kson was, you know, formerly in HoloLive under, you know, a different name, it's cool to see. It's cool and kind of like surreal to see like these people that worked with Kson and were her friends in HoloLive like have to pretend that they don't know it's their friend.
But Rodrigo didn't know about it. He was just picking up his friend.
I've got a contact on the force. She'll help Rodrigo, especially if he'll agree to testify about the blackmail.
He will. Or I'll show him he needs to be a lot more afraid of me than him. Thanks, Spider-Man.
I forgot how long this game actually is.
It depends on like how many of the side stuff you do. There's not that many side quests, but there are like a lot of collectibles that unlock additional costumes.
Oh, gotcha.
It's the second game, Miles Morales, is the one that starts adding like actual side quests instead of just here's a bunch of collectibles and the occasional like mini story. God, I want to learn how to play this song on guitar, and I also want to get a talk box for doing the vocals.
Report came in from Morningside Ice. Over.
There's a lot of songs I want to learn to play on guitar, the big one right now being the Space Ghost Coast to Coast theme.
I forgot that existed.
How did you forget that existed? They did a 30th anniversary marathon last year on YouTube, where they just played the same dozen episodes over and over again on loop for like a month and a half straight.
Because I didn't watch them.
That was my first exposure to Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and now it's ruined my, my everything. I can't get it out of my head. That's why, for April Fools, I happened to get hijacked by Zorak from Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
I think I watched it back when it used to air a lot on TV, but then I just kind of lost interest.
Yeah, they don't air it in reruns anymore, because the head of Adult Swim is ashamed of it and doesn't want people remembering it, which is weird because he worked on it. He's just a very weird guy in general. Like, he's part of the reason that, not Gendy Tartakovsky, what am I thinking? Maxwell Adams, despite, you know, Billy and Mandy being a show that would work very well on Adult Swim in addition to Cartoon Network, he had ideas for Adult Swim shows, but never got to make them because, the head of Adult Swim, Mike Lazo, thinks that Billy and Mandy sullied the name of Cartoon Network and holds a personal grudge against him.
Yeah.
Which, out of all the terrible shows that Cartoon Network has aired, it's weird that he singles out Billy and Mandy as the one that's particularly bad. Especially since it's not bad.
It's not bad. There's a lot of other ones that are pretty stupid.
Yeah. You can tell which ones are usually the worst because they don't even last past season 1. Like, damn near everything in CN Real.
Yeah. Wasn't Camp Lazlo Cartoon Network?
Yeah, that was. There's actually a bit in its finale that they had to change for copyright reasons. That was going to tie it into the creator's previous show, Rocko's Modern Life.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Same creator. The finale reveals that, like, Scoutmaster Lumpus that we've known throughout the series isn't the real Scoutmaster Lumpus. He's an imposter who had, like, kidnapped and tied up the real Scoutmaster Lumpus.
Mm-hmm.
And the design that we see in the finale is just like, you know, a generic, like, cowman character. But in the original version of what he wanted to make, it would have been Heifer from Rocko's Modern Life.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But he couldn't do that because Rocko's Modern Life is owned by Nickelodeon, which is Cartoon Network's competitor.
That makes sense. Makes total sense.
There's a lot of, like, stuff where certain shows or creators got screwed over because of the rivalry between Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. Like, you remember back when in, like, the 2000s, where every couple of years, or like 1 or 2 years or so, they would have like week-long marathons or stuff of like different pilots for potential new shows.
Vaguely?
Like, that's how we got Billy and Mandy and Kids Next Door. There was one set on the Oregon Trail called Party Wagon that was made by Craig Bartlett, the creator of Hey Arnold. And he made that while he was working at Nickelodeon. And it's the reason why the Hey Arnold Jungle movie didn't get made for like nearly 30 years.
Jeez, really? Just from that?
Yes, for a pilot that didn't even get picked up.
It's ridiculous.
It's all good, Spidey. Don't worry about it.
It's all good. Oh my gosh.
Yuri, I'm looking at a Fisk site where there's a lot of people, but not much work getting done.
That you can see. They're keeping it under wraps.
I'll turn over some rocks.
Speaking of keeping things under wraps, these guys are going to be under wraps if all goes according to Keikaku. At least until, you know, the mandatory fight sequence, because stealth in this game is kind of shit, in that even when you perfectly take out everyone without getting spotted, you're still automatically detected and forced to fight. That's something that was fixed in Miles Morales, I discovered through me playing it over the past couple days, and that carried over into Spider-Man 2 that I really appreciate. Because, like, why bother with stealth if you're not going to be rewarded for it?
Good point.
Spider-Man's here!
And, you know, they gave you more ways to take out guards, which is appreciated in any stealth section.
Mm-hmm.
Check Echo 1. No response from Echo 1. Check on his position.
There's a Pikachu. That's Echo 1 right there. Pikachu.
Pika Pika. Pikachu.
It would have been so much better if they had the right running animation.
Well, it's the model is running over the model for the rats. So
Yeah.
like that would not only involve, that would involve way too much work for a shitpost mod, basically.
Very true.
Especially since, 9 times out of 10, mod creators aren't getting paid for their mods.
That is also very true.
Have a good night, Shadow Dragon. Hope to see you tomorrow night. When we do some more Metal Gear and go sneaky like it's 1987.
That's a lot of tardy slips I'm gonna have to write.
He can't let him win. Flank him. Shot.
So, I'm guessing, since you are basically the same age as me, just a couple months older, you probably have a lot of nostalgic connection to the old Spider-Man movies from the 2000s, the Raimi trilogy.
I mean, a little bit, yeah.
Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, a little bit.
Did you know that there were plans for a Spider-Man movie as far back as the 80s?
I believe that.
You can see a concept trailer for it on YouTube from the studio that would have made it at the time, the Cannon Group, who at the time were known for movies like Death Wish and basically a bunch of schlocky action thriller movies. They went through a lot of revisions for what their idea for a Spider-Man movie would have been, all of which were not very Spider-Man-like, and I'm glad we didn't get them, but at the same time, it's goddamn, we could have had some peak, schlock Spider-Man if these had been made. One of them was to basically make it the movie The Fly, where, after the spider bite, he's gradually turning into a humanoid spider. Instead of, a proper Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah, that's what they did in the 90s. In the animated.
Yeah, that's where I believe that's where the idea of Man Spider came from. And there was also one that was supposed to be directed by James Cameron that would have had Arnold Schwarzenegger as Doc Ock.
That would have been a weird one.
And if you're wondering why in the animated series you never saw Sandman or Electro, it's because they were being saved for this movie that never got made.
Oh my gosh.
Got Big Willie's guys and his weapons.
Yeah, they had a list of actors that they wanted to play Spider-Man. One of them that I can name off the top of my head being Leonardo DiCaprio.
Well, it didn't happen, so...
Yeah, I am both glad and sad that those didn't happen. Glad because that would, if they did happen, we wouldn't have gotten the peak cinema that is the Raimi trilogy. But sad at the same time because I love my schlocky B movies.
Yeah, I know you do.
All units, got a reported break-in. Reported location is near Dublin.
Wonder how much money Peter has spent on backpacks alone.
Wild guess. Those guys breaking
Not just backpacks, but also the trackers to track the backpacks.
Why doesn't he just go back and get his backpack instead of spending so much money on shit?
Because he forgot that the backpacks were there. That's the whole point of the side quest of collecting the backpacks.
But there's trackers. Wouldn't that make sense to not forget that?
Look, you're asking me to fill in the holes in this story that I didn't write. And it's from a new universe unconnected to the comics. So the Peter here is very much not the Peter of the comics, in that this one is actually somewhat competent.
That's true.
And didn't sell his marriage to the literal devil.
Yeah.
Hey, Kier, Doc Ock Arnold honestly would be interesting. Multiverse, and there's a universe where the idea both failed and succeeded. We're in the universe where it failed. I wish I could glimpse into the universe where it actually got made. Just like I wish that I could glimpse into the universe where that Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie that me and you watched, Kier, actually got released, so we could see, like, maybe it get a sequel instead of, 30 plus years of just bullshit with the Fantastic Four in movies. Not that the 90s unreleased movie was not bullshit in any way, shape, or form, but it was fun bullshit instead of pretentious bullshit or annoying bullshit. Our favorite actor is Superman. Yeah, Nicolas Cage is Superman in the universe where Superman Lives actually got made. Although that movie would have been a clusterfuck if based on what few script details we have about it, including the many rewrites that it went through at the behest of its producer, all of which involved the finale having a fight with a giant robot spider. That was a mandate that he had for, like, every version of Superman Lives, even though nobody wanted to do it. And he finally got his finale involving his action movie finale involving a fight with a giant robot spider, but it was in the movie Wild Wild West. Where it makes the least sense.
Yeah. That's a weird thing just to throw in there.
Yeah, he was obsessed with a movie he was producing having a finale involving a fight with a giant robot spider, and nobody has been able to even guess why. He also said that Superman wasn't allowed to have a cape or the red tights.
What?
So we would have had a Superman movie where Nicolas Cage's costume was just a blue bodysuit, basically.
That's weird.
Yes, it would have been very weird, which is part of why it never got made.
I'm glad it didn't get made.
There was also, at the same time, a pitch for a 5th Batman movie to follow up Batman and Robin, in the event that it didn't become one of the most disastrous box office bombs ever, where the villain would have been Harley Quinn, but instead of her being, the Joker's girlfriend / lackey, she would have been the Joker's daughter.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
And Jack Nicklaus would have reappeared as the Joker in, like, flashback and hallucination sequences.
Interesting.
So basically, they predicted Arkham Knight with that part.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, what? It's not fun getting beat up? We'll sit with that for a while.
But yeah, if you want to know some more stuff about that canceled Superman movie, the plan was for the villain to be Brainiac.
That's fair. Brainiac.
And instead of, like, the cold machine, cold, unfeeling, logic-based machine that he is in most depictions, he would have been, like, I'm paraphrasing here a bit from the description, but like an effeminate evil C-3PO.
Hmm?
And he would have had a robot, like basically a robot dog companion.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there are many reasons why that movie didn't get made, and all of the ideas it had sounded terrible, but in the most brilliantly 90s way. Hear me out, Nicolas Cage was Uncle Ben, I'm not joking, I really think he'd be perfect for the role. Alfred too, Mr. Fantastic, I can see just Jesus Christ, so many good roles for Mr. Cage to be. I mean, he was a good Johnny Blaze. It wasn't a good comic version of Johnny Blaze, but he played that version of Johnny Blaze really well. And he was amazing, pun intended, as Spider-Man Noir in Into the Spider-Verse. And he did technically get to play Superman in the Teen Titans Go movie.
Gotta be a special kind of crazy to
Teen Titans Go movie.
Spider-Man protects.
Apparently, I haven't seen the movie because I have no interest in it, but apparently the movie's way better than the show, partly because it had different writing team.
And that's what's sad. You think the show would be the best, and then the movie would just like.
Well,
add to that.
typically you want to amp things up in terms of quality for the movie.
I mean, that's valid.
Because otherwise it's just going to be like a hour-and-a-half version of a TV show. You didn't see it, heard it was good too. Yeah, apparently, like, there was sort of like a monkey's paw thing. Or not monkey's paw, but like a catch-22 going on with the Teen Titans Go movie, which was like Cartoon Network never said this directly, but like Tara Strong and Greg Sipes did, was that if the movie had proven to be financially successful on like a bigger scale than it was, then they would have considered doing then Cartoon Network would have considered doing a 5th season of Teen Titans. Which is why there's that post-credit scene of, like, the original Teen Titans universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were doing the Capcom thing of, like, oh, you have to buy this thing that you don't like and don't want in order to prove that there's a market for the thing you do want.
Makes sense.
Those men could have died. Need to shut down the demons before more lives are lost.
There's actually, you know, going back to Spider-Man movies, there's a few Spider-Man fan films from like the 70s through the 90s that I need to check out. One of which is lost media, unfortunately, and we're not likely to be able to see it because the creator of it died a couple years ago, but he would show it off at conventions. There's just like no publicly available version of it, which was an adaptation of Kraven's Last Hunt, I believe. You know, one of the most famous Spider-Man stories of that era, and one of the first Spider-Man fan films. But the one that's like widely available on the bootlegging circuit is called The Green Goblin's Last Stand. And that one was like shot by an amateur filmmaker who was also the actor playing Spider-Man. And like, he didn't use special effects for, you know, web swinging between rooftops. He actually set up ropes on the rooftops with no safety harness and actually swung between the rooftops, hoping that he would not die in the process.
What?
Yeah.
Heck, man, I would not do that.
I mean, it was his movie that he was making, and he was gonna do it his way.
Great. Forgot how much I love photography.
Some people are just so crazy.
Yeah. Apparently it's pretty good for a fan film, too. Way better than that Spider-Man Lotus thing that came out like a year or two ago that was made purely out of spite and had a lot of controversy due to like the actor playing Spider-Man being a racist or something.
I never heard of it.
It was, it's known more for the controversy than it is for the movie itself. Part of it being like, the age-old thing of when you make something out purely out of spite, you have to make it really good. Otherwise, people are just going to say, like, you got mad and made something shitty while trying to outdo the thing you were mad at. Like, they were mad at how Spider-Man was portrayed in the MCU and wanted to do a more comic-accurate Spider-Man. And in the process made did a crowdfunding for their fan film, took a while to come out with it, and it turned out to be shit. Sort of like another infamous fan project that was mired in controversy due to one of its lead actors being a terrible racist was Transformers Prime Galvatron's Revenge, which spent like a decade in development hell and finally came out, and they wanted to charge for its release, which you're not supposed to do for fan films. And it ended up being shit. Absolute shit.
Spider signal, that's hilarious.
Yep, that's an actual thing from parts of the comics. In the earlier days, he had a spider signal, not like the bat signal where it's like, you know, to signal that we need Batman's help, but it was to signal that he's arrived on the scene to strike fear into the hearts of his enemies.
That's a good way to put it, I guess.
That was something from the early run of the comics, apparently, that doesn't get adapted into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Can we get a Japanese Spider-Man game? Dude, I would love to see a Japanese Spider-Man game. Japanese Spider-Man, like, there's a creator I watch named Anthony Gramuglia, who's like an expert on Spider-Man comics and Spider-Man lore. And one of his video essay ideas that he had in a recent poll was who is the best Spider-Man outside of Peter and Miles. And my vote goes to Japanese Spider-Man, Takuya, I can't remember his last name. You know, the emissary from hell, Spider-Man!
I think that debris is trapping someone inside that car.
Which, you know, given that Hasbro has the toy rights for Spider-Man, I'm like, can you please team up with Toei to give us, like, a modern version of Leopardon from the Japanese Spider-Man series? Because I would love to own that. It was the first transforming giant robot in tokusatsu history. Like, it's where Power Rangers and, well, technically Super Sentai, but where the idea of, like, the superhero in a tokusatsu series having a giant transforming mecha to battle the evildoers came from. Not from Super Sentai. Spider-Man did it first.
Spider-Man's a trendsetter.
Yes. Super Sentai wouldn't do it until the series that came out after Spider-Man was over.
Which one was it, I wonder?
God, I can't remember. This was in the 70s, so my knowledge of Super Sentai is very limited.
I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, that'd be the Showa period, more than likely.
Yeah, it was definitely Showa era.
Yeah, so it'd be closer to the end of that.
I also wish that, like, Toei could reach a deal with Disney and Marvel to get an official release of Japanese Spider-Man, because right now the only way to watch it is through, like, some bootleg fan subs. Which, you know, no disrespect to the fan subbing market. They're the reason that we were able to watch Super Sentai and Kamen Rider for decades before we got official releases of those in the West. It's just, you know, I would like to see it get the official release treatment so we can support the official release.
Oh, this makes sense now. Himitsu Sentai Goranger?
It wasn't Goranger. Goranger was the first.
It says right here. Well, it says right here.
No, Goranger was the first Super Sentai.
Are we sure? It says right. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes, Go Ranger was the first Super Sentai.
Maybe you're right. Maybe, but this thing says they started using Zords there first. Hold on. Let me figure it out.
Either that, or, like, keep in mind, my knowledge of Super Sentai and Japanese tokusatsu stuff that's not Godzilla is very limited. It might have been that Go Ranger debuted after Spider-Man. And could have had the transforming mecha in there. I don't know. I haven't seen Super Sentai, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay, here we go. Okay, it was Battle Fever J.
Told ya.
It's the third one that was out. Yeah, it says this is the first one to have mechs.
John Dacre.
Hey, Psionic X, thanks for the 200 bits to serenade us with John Dacre's dulcet tones. While we swing through the streets of New York City, admiring the nightlife and the Pikachus in the alleyways and the pizzas on the roofs and the Garfields in the park.
Garfields?
Yeah, I have a mod installed that replaces the squirrels in Central Park with Garfield. I've been playing so much Miles Morales lately that I have to remember that, like, no, I don't have access to the electric powers in this game. That's only Miles. How are we doing? I've been tired this week because we've been having some shitty weather here, and that always makes me, like, really fatigued, which is why I haven't streamed much this week, but other than that, I've been fine. I managed to sort out the issue that, my, PC was having with, like, whenever I launch games in full screen, I would get, like, this ear-splitting, electronic whine out of my second monitor. Turns out all I had to do was, swap the cable from the HDMI port to the second display port.
Demons are down. I'll let you take it from here, officers.
Seems like there's something faulty with the HDMI port on my new GPU, which, you know, I'm not too concerned about.
Good one. Don't mention it, officer.
Or it might just be like, you know, a power supply issue thing. I don't know. I'm not going to look into replacing even more parts of my PC. It already cost me too much emotional and financial stress in order to get a new GPU. Also, Kier, you'll be happy to hear as a fan of Godzilla as well. And I know you've been... I believe you said that you've wanted to watch Godzilla vs. Biollante. It is finally streaming. You can finally watch Godzilla vs. Biollante on streaming, but it's only on Max.
Of course, it's only on Max.
Yeah. Like, all the other Heisei era movies are, like, available everywhere, basically, but Biollante is only available on Max because that one was put through a different distributor than all the other Heisei era films, because it was originally distributed by HBO in the West, which meant that defaulted over to Warner Brothers.
Ooh, heartburn.
Yeah, it's one of those, think of it sort of like a Harmony Gold situation where it's like this company that has no rights, no business holding on to the rights for something they do nothing with for so long, has just squatted on those rights for so long, and it keeps, like, the thing that people want to see from getting released legally in the West outside of very sporadic, limited releases.
Mm-hmm.
That's HBO and Godzilla vs. Biollante. I was lucky enough to pick up the DVD, the very first DVD release of it, because they had it at my local Food Lion where I was living at the time. Back when Food Lion used to sell like budget DVDs.
I completely forgot Food Lion did that.
Yeah, a lot of grocery stores, at least down here in the South, used to do that.
Well, we only had Harris Teeter near me when I was a kid. So.
Yeah, we only had Harris Teeter near me too. But like Food Lion had like, you know, not like brand new releases, but you know, stuff that was like old stock from other stores. So a lot of like B movies and stuff like that. And that's how I got Godzilla vs. Biollante.
That's good for you. You got a really good one.
Yeah, that one's now, I think it's a collector's item because it's the only DVD release it's ever gotten. Outside of Japan, of course.
Some sense. Oh my gosh, that ability that just... It almost looks like they're exploding, like into like smoke and just like...
Well, part of it is that like the particle effect for the explosion seems to be a little bit broken on my install. So it shows up as like, you see like those squares popping out. That's not how it's supposed to look.
So you got a cooler version of it.
Yes, I got the exclusive exploding squares version of Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. There's only one copy known to be in existence. It's like how Scott the Woz owns one of the rarest releases of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 ever. Sonic 2 with a line drawn on the cartridge.
Maybe it's time to reignite the flame.
So odd. Big black cat and Callie. Oh my gosh.
Anything look out
At that right there.
There. One of her cats. She packs those with range extenders, then harvests nearby RFID signals.
Can we appreciate that, like, eyeball monster art over there that's obviously a throwback to Neversoft? The developers of Spider-Man for PS1 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
You still have Black Cat's suit and equipment in the
Well, that makes sense why Spider-Man was a playable character in some Pro Skater.
Yeah, and Pro Skater 2, he was a playable character. Which is why in the Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake that came out a couple years ago, Spider-Man's not in it because, you know, the rights are different now.
Hey, May. You're calling late. What's up?
I thought we were...
But in the upcoming 3 and 4 remake, if you get the Digital Deluxe Edition, you get to play as the Doomslayer and a Revenant from Doom.
Oh my gosh.
Kinda got evicted from my apartment.
And they're also adding in a new level to 3 and 4 remake, which is based on Spyro.
Room at the shelter?
Of course. Feel free to use the couch in my office.
Thanks, May.
I am a little bit worried about the 3 and 4 remake, though, because it's being developed by Iron Galaxy, and Iron Galaxy has a very spotty track record when it comes to, like, day one releases. To give you an example, like, for good stuff, they assisted Retro Studios on making Metroid Prime Remastered. That was good.
Ooh.
They were also the developers of the legendarily terrible, up until hardware was able to catch up with it, Batman Arkham Knight PC port.
Ooh.
And the equally legendarily terrible The Last of Us Remastered PC port.
Don't even remind me about that game.
So yeah, that, like I said, very spotty track record, and they're the sole developers of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake. It was originally being developed by Vicarious Visions, but they were put in the Diablo mines and rechristened from, you know, as part of losing their identity as a sole studio, they were rechristened to, like, Blizzard Studios Albany, I think.
I'm visiting my old man. I hope so. But you should know, bad boys aren't my type.
Why are you doing this, Felicia? You know I'm gonna catch you.
Like, that was an especially weird case because, like, you know, with Toys for Bob being shut down initially before they were able to, like, just get the rights to the studio name and reform themselves as a independent studio. They were shut down because Crash 4 ended up not performing as well as Activision anticipated. And by all means, it didn't perform the greatest in terms of sales. Whereas, like, Vicarious Visions projects like Crash Insane Trilogy and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 sold like gangbusters. And yet they were still, you know, stripped of their individuality and put into the support mines for another studio.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
Usually that only happens when the studio has a high-profile flop rather than, you know, having success after success. More success than Blizzard has had.
Yeah, well, Blizzard's had a few changes lately, at least WoW-wise, but everything else has been pretty, like, lackluster.
Yeah.
They just
like, my guess is that the reason why studios keep on getting tasked with, like, being turned into Blizzard support rather than it used to be the Call of Duty mines, now it's the Blizzard mines, is because Blizzard has gotten so inept at making their own games that they need the support studios to help them make something good.
It's probably true, honestly.
And I don't mean that as a slight against the Blizzard developers. It's executive level mismanagement that's inept.
Mm-hmm. It's valid.
Bungie is going downhill very fast. Yeah, I heard about the plagiarized art that's in Marathon. And the fact that we're finally getting a Marathon reboot after decades and it's going to be a live service game. And that Bungie recently lost a court case where, like, they were trying to get it dismissed over, like, a previous case of plagiarized artwork in one of their games. And they were trying to get it dismissed. And the judge was like, okay, if you want dismissed, can you provide us with any evidence that the art wasn't stolen by, like, oh, I don't know, showing us the files for the art? And they were like, oh yeah, we have the files for the art. Okay, can you show it for us? No, we can't. It's currently archived and we don't want to go through the trouble of looking it up. Okay, so you don't want to win this case. Got it.
They're just stupid.
I'm very much, you know, simplifying it. There's a lot more complexity to it than that, but it just reeks of, like, do you want to win this lawsuit or not?
Really, they don't want to.
Plus a paid loot extraction game that does remind me of, yeah. I mean, keep in mind, Sony owns Bungie now, and Sony did say that they had, what was it, like 10 live service games planned, even after Concord. I wouldn't even say it came out. I'd say it died on arrival. The only one that we know they canceled, the only ones we know they canceled were a live service Spider-Man game that would have been like a Spider-Verse type thing, following up on one of the side quests in Spider-Man 2. And a God of War live service game, which terrifies me of how that would have worked. Like, how do you make a single-player hack-and-slash action-adventure game a live service game without losing what makes it God of War? Answer, you don't, obviously, because they canceled it.
Yeah.
And the Last of Us multiplayer game as well. I forgot about that. That one was in development hell for a long time, and then finally it got canceled, which, you know, everyone saw coming. Like, it's wild that all these big studios are still like, live service is the future, even though really only Fortnite has been able to maintain its player base. And that was by expanding its reach, not just in pop culture, but in genres, by incorporating new gameplay modes for people that don't just want to play a battle royale shooter or a competitive multiplayer game. And, you know, that's something that's not financially viable for a lot of studios, which is why Epic has basically focused on only 2 products for a long time now, which is developing the Unreal Engine and Fortnite.
Someone celebrate with us?
Fine, but make it quick.
The odds were long. The danger.
All right, as I'm falling asleep a little bit, I may actually have to go.
Okay. Have a good night, dude.
You cool?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just my throat's a little dry because I've been yapping so much.
Yeah, I don't want to like randomly fall asleep. So
yeah, I get you, and I respect you for you know, telling me that instead of just falling asleep on stream.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. But yeah, we'll talk tomorrow because I'm gonna probably maybe try to stream my stuff tomorrow too. So I figured I would just reach out anyways tomorrow.
All right. I may or may not be at home during the day tomorrow because I need to pick up my next batch of my weight loss medicine from my mom's. Depends on whether I go tomorrow or Sunday, and that all depends on how I feel.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Or as my late granny would say, if the spirit moves me.
Yeah, I have to run downstairs and sleep down there tonight. We had some people trying to break into people's houses in my neighborhood yesterday, and they were all around our house. So
you okay?
I have to.
You guys okay?
Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, we're fine. They went to our neighbor's house with a hammer and tried to break their lockbox open, and kept on tugging on the doors trying to break in. So.
Do you need to call the Ghostbusters?
We called the Ghostbusters and then the cops.
Did the knowing North Carolina police, the Ghostbusters probably got there before the cops did.
Yeah, the cops came the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, just like Psionic Hex just said in chat, just stay safe.
Yeah, I will.
Don't do anything stupid than usual.
Hey, the only thing I've ever done that's stupid lately is
I realize the irony in me saying
everything. Fuck.
Hurt your leg again, like you continue to do throughout the years in various different ways.
I mean, hey, it's healing it.
It's always your leg, or like your foot.
I remember when I broke my foot.
I remember when you broke your toe by hanging against the wall.
It was a chair.
No, it was the sofa.
It was the sofa when I was in a hurry to get to class. And what's even funnier is my professor for that class, her parents, actually dealt with broken bones, and she looked at my toe and said, "You know, you broke your toe, right?" And I was like, "Really?" She was like, "Yeah."
That's gonna take like a million mommy kisses to hurt that ouchie.
oh boy.
Yeah.
They got rockets.
Anyways, I probably need to go before I pass out. But I'll
yes, go to bed. Go the fuck to sleep, as Samuel L. Jackson would say.
I'm going right now. I need to go take care of Barry anyways.
Have a good night.
Later.
Tell Barry that Unky Ari said hello.
I will say so. All right, see ya.
All right, so we're probably not going to make too much story progress tonight because I've mostly been focusing on side missions. But I will be streaming this again on Sunday. I made some changes to my schedule, just forgot to post them to Blue Sky. I've really been in a Insomniac Spider-Man mood lately, so I want to play some more of this instead of, like, you know, forcing myself to play something that I may or may not be in the mood for. But we will still be doing Metal Gear tomorrow night. Did I hear about what happened with Takahata 101? I heard that people were distancing themselves from him over some alleged thing he did that none of them will say what he did. And all of them are like, hey, I'm publicly announcing that Takahata did a bad thing. I won't say what the bad thing is, and I don't want you to ask anyone, including me, what the bad thing is. Like, that's what I've heard. So, a lot of, like, he said, she said, and no one knows from, you know, from my latest updates on the situation, no one knows what he supposedly even did. And the thing that irritates me about the situation, you know, I'm not preemptively like siding with like one side or the other, but what is annoying me is like everyone apart from Takahata who has said like I am seeking legal counsel on this and therefore cannot speak publicly about it. He has a good reason to stay hush-hush about it, whereas everyone else has been like, I am going to publicly announce that this person is a bitch-ass motherfucker, but please do not ask me why. Well, I heard cops and lawyers might come into it. Yeah, I heard that there was a police report filed, but no one will say what for. And Takahata has said that he's lawyering up. I'm interested in seeing how this plays out before, like, taking sides.
I think that's it. Everyone okay?
Because a lot of, like, as we've seen with a lot of recent, like, attempts at, like, call-outs of public figures on the internet, a lot of them recently have ended up being either complete hit pieces that are based on lies or, like, distortions of stuff that happened a long time ago and that all parties involved have gotten over, except for the people trying to smear them. Like, the whole thing with, Saberspark ended up being a nothing burger that was hyped up by a channel that had a grudge against him, and the alleged victim in that was someone that had a history of not just you know, from what I've heard. I'm not claiming that this is 100% true, of course. I encourage everyone to look into these situations that are themselves instead of taking what I have at face value. But she's someone that has a history of not just being a homewrecker, but for getting involved in lots of drama involving slandering other creators. They're doing the right thing and keeping it out of the public, unlike other people. Like, my thing is, like, I would prefer that this just be handled behind the scenes instead of making public posts about, like, there is something bad that this person has happened, but please don't ask me what it is, and if you do ask me what it is, then I'm going to tell you, like, why are you asking? All I said was that this person did a horrible thing, and it's this person that, like... I'm not against handling things behind the scenes, as long as they stay behind the scenes, instead of making these public call-out posts about, like, oh, this person that I've associated with for years and that a lot of people like has done something horrible, and I'm going to make a big public announcement, either on stream or on Twitter or whatever, about it, and then ask people to please respect my privacy when, like, the easier answer to keep people from disrespecting your privacy would be to just handle it behind the scenes and speak about it after everything's settled. Yeah, I'm not siding one way or the other with the Takahata thing until more info comes out. The recent Saberspark thing has like the thing with Taiga a while ago has gotten me to be like, okay, maybe not be so hasty on listening to the first people to speak out and instead wait and see how it plays out and who has receipts.
All this for little old me?
The Pro Jared situation, too, also taught me to try and not be so hasty in judgment. I'm definitely not saying that, like, that you shouldn't believe people that come forward with stories of abuse. You should always believe victims until disproven. It's like the Mick Gordon thing as well. It's different than the Mick Gordon thing, because the Mick Gordon thing was more so, like, financial bullshit, rather than, like, actual potential criminal abuse going on. But justice for Mick Gordon. As much as I like Doom the Dark Ages so far, the soundtrack is just peak meh. It's missing Mick Gordon's unique touch. Mick drop a nuke on him. Yes, he did. And that's why he's the absolute GOAT. Takes a lot of balls to call out one of the biggest publishers in the West for screwing you over. I need to drink something to quench my throat so it doesn't get all mangled.
Can't believe I haven't slept since the Fisk takedown. Gotta start taking.
There we go. Some delicious, good flavor gamer sups. Still not sponsored. I would love to get sponsored by them. And would happily shill their products for money. You got Pepsi Max. Dude, it bugs me so much that Pepsi Max is no longer sold here in the States. It was sold here for a while, then they just discontinued it here, but they kept the can design, like the black can, but now they use it for 0-calorie Pepsi. Not Diet Pepsi, but like the 0-calorie one that has the original Pepsi taste instead of Pepsi Max. Yeah, Pepsi Max is not available in the United States anymore, and no one knows why. They just got rid of it, and to create confusion for people that are used to Pepsi Max, the iconic Pepsi Max packaging design is now used for 0-calorie Pepsi. I'm an expert on this kind of Pepsi stuff because I'm from North Carolina, which is where Pepsi started. So I kind of have to be up and up on my state's most iconic contribution to pop culture. Summer Game Fest is this Friday coming. Oh boy, can't wait for a whole bunch of fucking nothing like there usually is at Summer Games Fest. Or like any Jeff Keighley presentation.
Oh, you are so much like Ben. You have to learn to swallow that part.
Like, Summer Games Fest really doesn't make sense as a thing that needs to exist when every major publisher already has switched over to the Nintendo Direct style format. They don't need trade shows or events to do these anymore. Sometimes there's good things like indie. Yeah, the indie announcements are usually the best things to come out of there, but the stuff from, like, the major publishers is always so fucking boring, or it's just stuff we already knew about. Especially Capcom. Don't get me started on Capcom's presentations at gaming trade shows over the past several years, where all they do is show off stuff we already know about. Do I think Resident Evil will be there? You know, I kind of hope that a new Resident Evil, if it does get announced, doesn't come out this year.
Pretty happy right now.
Because, we got non-stop Resident Evil games for over half a decade straight every year. Give the franchise a break.
Oh,
I don't want Resident Evil to become oversaturated to the point where, like, you start seeing diminishing returns. 9 is in the works. Yeah, I know 9 is in the works. I'm just hoping that, like, if it's announced, it's not like, oh, it's coming out later this year, because it's like, my guys, we've had, like, the first break from annual Resident Evil releases since 2017. Why do you have to ruin it? Why do you have to take the spotlight off of the exciting stuff you have announced, like Okami 2 or the new Onimusha?
It's so humiliating taking money from May. I should head out into the city and try to pay it forward.
You know, I've thought about streaming Onimusha sometime. It's just, there's 3 primary versions of the first Onimusha, and I need to figure out which one is going to be the basis of my stream. Because, you know, there's the original PS2 version, which has a different soundtrack than the remaster. There's the remaster, of course, which is the most widely available version and the one most people nowadays would have played. There's also an Xbox port that has exclusive content and gameplay changes that are not in the remaster. I just gotta, like, play them side by side and figure out which one I think I want to stream the most.
How about I keep an eye out for him?
You do that? Oh, thank you. If you have any luck, please give me a call.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of like what stuff would be shown off at Summer Games Fest, if anything, aside from the indie scene, of course. Sega would probably be there to show off that new Sonic Racing game that they've got in the works.
Congrats on the ceremony today.
Which, you know, looks interesting. It's a return to the All-Stars Racing Transformed formula, which is All-Stars Racing Transformed is my favorite mascot kart racer of all time. I like it more than any Mario Kart I've ever played.
I thought maybe my friendly neighborhood partner would want to know.
Understood. I'll do a swing by.
Probably something Yakuza related. There's always something Yakuza related in the works. I know I keep saying Yakuza, even though the franchise has officially now been retitled to Like a Dragon. It's just, you know, when it's called Yakuza for 20 years here, it's kind of hard to call it anything else.
She was doing this in person the first time I caught her.
Hopefully we'll probably see some stuff about those revival projects they had for, like, Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. Because they've been silent about those for a little bit. You know, obviously because they were announced before any, like, major development had happened on them. But hopefully we see some more news about those. Yeah, Crazy Taxi, Streets of Rage, Jet Set Radio.
I guess that's how you roll.
I know Kier definitely wants to see something from that new Crazy Taxi, because he loves him some Crazy Taxi.
Another message from Doc.
Peter, I don't want to jinx us, but the lead-up following might not only get the project back on its feet, but also expand it in ways we never could have imagined.
You know what? I'm thinking we need to change up the costume a bit. Don't want it to get visually dull. Hey, ready to have some crazy fun with Crazy Taxi? Are you ready? You're welcome for that, Kier. I did that for you for free because I don't have a redeem for Crazy Taxi narrator. I know Shinobi being shown off more and more. It's the same devs who did the TMNT game in Streets of Rage 4. Which TMNT game? There's so many. And that could be a difference between it being good and being shit. If you mean like Shredder's Revenge or that awful new one that came out that it like instantly went on sale. See, I'm thinking this calls for Evil Spooderman. Shredder's Revenge. Oh, good. Good. You know, a Shinobi project from them is interesting. Because Shinobi's not a, you know, belt-scrolling beat-em-up like they're usually known for making. I mean, of course, they could turn it into one of those, but I'm interested in seeing what they do with, like, making it a Shinobi game instead of, you know, just a beat-em-up with ninjas. Which is basically would just make it, oh, it's the original Ninja Gaiden. A lot of people forget that Ninja Gaiden started out as an arcade beat-em-up game that wasn't particularly noteworthy or good. The version that everyone remembers from the 80s on the NES is completely different in every way from the original Ninja Gaiden. And that's the one that caught on and got sequels. By the way, seen the new King of the Hill opening, and it feels like Rocco, where the intro tells us a lot happened since the last time we watched. Yeah, I figured they would probably do something like that, because this is a Mike Judge property, and he does, like, you know, acknowledging when time has passed in these revivals. What's gonna be weird, like I said earlier, speaking of King of the Hill, gotta do this since Kier's here, and he missed out on the shenanigans earlier. Whoa! Bobby! It's gonna be weird seeing King of the Hill when, like, 3 of the main cast members are dead now. Brittany Murphy, Tom Petty, God, I hate that I don't remember his name, but the guy that played Dale. It's gonna be so weird having a show that... there's the Garfields. The Garfields infesting the parks. It's gonna be weird having a King of the Hill either without their original voices or with the characters written out entirely. You did the whoa at work, and the girl was, and the girl at work was like, "Oh wow." I mean, Hank Hill is a fun character to do an impression of, as someone who's technically a Texan. I'm Hank Hill, and I'm here to bring the propane to the criminals. I have a narrow urethra.
One of Howard's pigeons. It's getting away.
Sadly, the flying pizza pigeons mod doesn't work for the pigeons you have to chase, but there is one instance during a cutscene that's funny that I hope I get to show off. Can't wait to see your boy in 4K when he comes to Wilds in the summer. Depends on who your boy is.
Hey, Howard. Think I found one of
I haven't been keeping up with Monster Hunter stuff because I've never played Monster Hunter. I still feel ashamed for saying I've never played Monster Hunter because I've had a copy of World since 2019 that my cousin Cobalt Rogue bought for me, and I just never played it. The Lord of the Sea himself. I'm going to say hooray, because I have no idea who that is. Again, never played Monster Hunter.
Reports are coming in from Little Tokyo.
He was the poster boy for Try. Oh, the guy on the cover of Try. Okay. I say the guy, the monster on the cover of Try. I've seen the cover for Try at the very least. Yeah, I only really know a few of the Monster Hunter monsters. Mostly through Peace Walker. The collabs in there. And, you know, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate having Rathalos as a boss.
Fisk was a maniac, but he loved New York. The demons, though, seems like they just want to tear the city down.
Rathalos was in Final Fantasy XIV as well. You forget that I, after all these years, have still not made it past the base game A Realm Reborn content. So I haven't seen any of the cool stuff that people love about the game. Apart from Y'shtola, I've seen Y'shtola. I can understand why people love Y'shtola.
It's all over the news. Another battle between
The demons that I'm fighting are like, we were expecting Spider-Man. Who the hell is this? I'm Hank Hill. I bring the propane to people like you. By the way, while I've got it on my mind, I don't know why I have it on my mind, but fuck it, I do. Something to potentially look forward to in October that's currently in the works is me, Nico, Lulu, and possibly some other friends, mutual friends of ours, doing some streams of a custom D&D campaign around October, themed around Castlevania. That's obviously not going to be until around Halloween time. But Nico is currently working out how to adapt his custom rule set for like Castlevania mechanics to the D&D 5th edition rules. And, you know, coming up with story beats and setting and stuff like that. So, you know, there's a lot of pre-planning before we're anywhere near to, ready to do that. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing some D&D with him again, although technically the games I played with him before were Pathfinder, because 5th edition wasn't out yet. And everyone had, like, sworn off of D&D 4th edition in favor of Pathfinder. It'll also be my first time playing 5th edition. Because the only D&D I've ever played was a custom rule set based on 3rd edition. Because that's how much 4th edition was apparently hated. I know I'm probably going to be playing a rogue or something like that. I just gotta figure out a lot more details about the character I'm going to be playing. You know, I got time to figure it out. It's not like I'm in any hurry. Wait, there's going to be a Power Wash Sim 2? I didn't know about that. Then again, it's not like I keep up with the Power Wash Sim community, so it makes sense I wouldn't have heard of that. Hey, who wants to take bets on whether or not Silksong is going to be there? I've been listening to the Apocalypse Players podcast as they play Call of Cthulhu. You know, I've only ever played one other tabletop RPG besides D&D/Pathfinder, and that was the Star Wars tabletop. We only ever did one session of it. That was back in my college days. Yeah, we obviously didn't get very far in there because it was only the one session. You know, there's an Aliens tabletop. I didn't know there was an Aliens tabletop. I found out recently that there's a Transformers tabletop and a Power Rangers one.
Alicia thinks she's toying with me, but I learned something in each of these scenes. Bam. I think
There was also a Dragon Ball Z tabletop back in the day, but it was notoriously bad, apparently, because it had, like, overcomplicated and nonsensical rules for just character creation, let alone battles. Like, stuff that requires, like, multiple dice rolls just for one check. The devs of Power Wash Sim did post about the second a while ago. Yeah, I didn't hear of it because, you know, I've never played Power Wash Sim. I know people that love Power Wash Sim. I just haven't played it. I think I have a copy of it on Epic, if I remember correctly. I know I have a copy I got for free during a promotion somewhere. Just can't remember which platform it's on. It's a good Zen game to listen to stuff or just have a chill hangout with friends. I bet. I've heard it's really just relaxing. There's a reason that, obviously you know who Yahtzee is. He calls games like Power Wash Sim or, what is it, like Crime Scene Cleaner or whatever it's called. He calls them, dad games. Because they're like the exact kind of like, you know, low intensity, calming, turn your brain off and just relax, but still involving, but still gets you like involved, sim games that like your dad would be the kind to play. You know, they got Warhammer 40k DLC. I know they have SpongeBob DLC, and I think they have Portal DLC too, don't they? Or am I thinking of another game? They got a lot of crossover DLC. Speaking of SpongeBob games, me and Kier need to find a time where we're both feeling up to it and have the time to actually do it, to continue playing some more of the Patrick Star game. We have to make sure it's a night where we're okay with losing some more brain cells.
Something's going down at the Fisk construction site. Gotta remember to check it out. Felicia's keeping busy, but I'm catching up. Let's see where she hit this time.
Their DLCs for the first game is Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy VII, SpongeBob SquarePants, Back to the Future, 40k, Alice in Wonderland, Shrek, and Wallace and Gromit. Didn't know they had Final Fantasy VII DLC. I singled that one out as if I knew about any of them besides Spinch Bill. Oh, look at the flying pizzas. Can't remember where it is that she put the kitty. Also, for some reason, I'm still getting Discord notifications, even though I shouldn't be. And I know it's not the redeem, because I'm not getting the pop-up for it. That one was the redeem.
There it is. Cornelius Van Lunt's place. She's hitting places full of one-of-a-kind valuables. She must be working for someone. Otherwise, why not just steal cash?
All right, I'm thinking we do a couple more, Oh, we got kidnapping going on. I can't chase after the pigeon right now.
I'll set my earpiece to focus on muffled voices.
I'll chase that pigeon later. Right now I need to rescue a kidnapping victim.
Gotta be one of these cars.
Yes, it's this car. Let me open it. Let me open the car, please. Hello? Is this game?
Someone help before the guys who did this come back.
Am I stuck in limbo? Can I not open the car because it thinks I'm still chasing the pigeon?
Get me out of here.
I guess I can't open the car because it thinks I'm still chasing the pigeon.
I'm gonna murder the guys who did this.
Garfield, help me. Damn, I'm gonna get chewed out by Jameson for this one because the game wouldn't let me press the buttons. I was pressing the buttons and nothing was happening. I said that like Dave Rubin instead of Darkside Phil.
Okay.
Well, that should be a lesson to that kidnapping victim. Don't get kidnapped in the vicinity of a pigeon. Or else Spider-Man will be bound by the laws of the universe to not be able to rescue you. Think about that next time you get kidnapped.
Thesis paper on neurotechnology. This got me the job with Dr. Octavius.
All right, now
Nailed it.
let's see, what else do I want to do before wrapping things up? I know there's a GTA YouTuber who's going through all the 3D games without dying, and if they die, they get reset. Jesus, that sounds hard. That sounds like hell, dude.
Streets are now filled with aspiring gangsters, each trying to out-psycho the other. My next guest is lucky to have survived an armed robbery. Sir, we're glad you're okay.
Thanks. It was nuts. These dudes walk in like they own the place, waving guns around.
Appalling. When a businessman is afraid to...
He got to 4 and died. Oh, he got to Grand Theft Auto 4 and they... Wait, when you say restart, does that mean he has to restart the game? Or he has to restart from Grand Theft Auto 3? I need to know how insane this challenge is.
Let's let him go. I'm fine. Goodbye!
From 3? Oh, damn. Damn, there's no way I could do a challenge run like that. Holy shit. Alright, I'll catch one more pigeon. And then, we'll call it a night. I know I didn't make much story progress tonight. But, we still had some fun, I like to think. Games Radar made a story about that. Games Radar is still around. That's the thing that shocks me more. I remember when Games Radar was first being advertised in magazines like PSM and Official Xbox Magazine, where they hyped it up with like their most clickbaity articles that were like very of the era, if you know anything about what PSM especially was like back in the day under Future Publishing. Where it's like I remember the ads being something like, go to gamesradar.com to see our uncensored article with video clips about the top 10 hottest girl-on-girl kisses in video games. That's what I'll always remember Games Radar as, instead of anything respectable. Yeah, I can understand a 60 FPS mod for a game coded to run in 30 FPS fucking things up. A lot of games of that era tied the game logic, especially the physics, to the frame rate, because they were on hardware that could like, a lot of times not render those kind of things at a stable 30 FPS. So if the frame rate got lower, it would compensate for it. But if the frame rate went higher, which, you know, it couldn't do at the time, but with these 60 FPS mods now, a lot of them don't take that into consideration. It leads to the physics being all fucked up. All right, let's, you know what, let's take a photo. Let's take a nice photo. That'll be, like, good for a thumbnail. Thinking, like, right here. Or, like, you know what? Selfie. Yeah, a selfie of Hank Hill. God, that is uncanny. Oh boy, a fisheye lens! God, they got a lot of filters for this. Retro and 8-bit? Want to DM me a link of the person's run? Sure, go ahead. I know a couple of people that might be interested in seeing that. All right, no film grain. Let's see, do we want a vignette? Yeah, let's get a little bit of a vignette. No, not that much. Like right here. I'm adjusting the emotes as if they affect this model. Selfie light on. Yeah, let's turn the light on. And snip. God, photo modes are going to be so helpful for making thumbnails in games for my streams. All right, let's save. Thanks for sending it to me, Hex. And let's switch back on over here and see who we are going to be raiding tonight. Oh, he's including the stories games too. Interesting. Let's see who from Eldenwood is live right now, unless someone has a redeem that they want to redeem for who they want rated. The stories are 3D as well. Yeah, I knew that. It's just I didn't know he was including them since they're spin-offs, I believe. I don't claim to be a GTA expert. All right, let's see who from Eldenwood is on that could
You put in all your information stuff. It was
silence you. We are going to raid. We're going to raid. We're going to raid Ringo Okada, who is just chatting, fellow Eldenwood member, and Judging by their username, they're also a voice actor. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you to Miles for co-hosting with me as long as he could tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow night with more of the original Metal Gear, and on Sunday with some more of this. Until then, unpleasant dreams. Way to end it off with the Discord notification. Psionic X. Good night, everybody.